Paul Rudd's slander will not be tolerated beyond this point.
Alright. This is, I guess you could call it, the counterculture experience off the air. This is Chris Ramos. I don't really want to pride it too much as a podcast because everyone and their mother has a podcast, so it's really just me talking about a new, or in this case more so recent, not necessarily brand new, music in the comfort of my own home, not in a studio. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get to it. Let's talk. Let's chat. Let's discuss players. This is going to be a quick, brief run through. Two albums I want to talk about, or actually one album and three singles. So first, I want to talk about Big Thief's album that was released at the beginning of the month, U.F.O.F., which a staff member. Now I'm a little late to the party when it comes to Big Thief. Leading up to the release of their third album, a member of the Black Squirrel Radio staff brought up Big Thief to me and said, "You should check him out." Probably a few weeks prior to the release of U.F.O.F. So I took his advice. I listened to Capacity, and I frickin' loved it. I thought it was a great record, really experimental, but also just I really just kind of dug their sound. It's very, very cool. And with U.F.O.F, I fell in love right away. Again, like they kind of have this experimental and like really haunting sound and really surreal lyrics. So that all kind of just comes together really nicely with Big Thief. And upon checking them out prior to U.F.O.F, I quickly basically became enlisted as a fan, and I was excited for the album. So this is their third release, and jumping into U.F.O.F, I noticed right away that there was an emphasis on folk music. It's saturated, practically drenched on this damn record, players. It's a very light album to the ears overall, and not just the instrumentation, but also many of the vocal performances by lead singer Adrian Lanker. On some cuts, it literally sounds as though her voice is moments away from completely fading away, but I don't see that. I don't say that as a negative. It fits the bill. It fits the sound that's backing her. So it fits the bill most certainly. And while there is an emphasis on a lot of acoustic and folk on this record, it can undergo some quick changes and get really kind of spazzy a bit. Like on the opening track, Contact, there's this instrumental break with this loud, distorted killer riff that really catches you by surprise towards the end of the song. Century, that's my favorite song personally off the album. It ends with this really beautiful spacey outro, and Strange also possesses a moment where it can get a spacey with these bouncy chords, and Lanker chimes in with mesmerizing vocals. I really dig the effort to make the songs more engaging. You know, taking folk roots, but also putting their own twist on it, putting that big beef spin on it. It's an awesome record and totally worth your time. I'm really glad that that staff member had recommended Big Thief to me, and that I'm hip to them, because I think they're a pretty awesome band, and I'm excited to see what's in their future. And U.F.O.F has really garnered a lot of critical acclaim, and that's good to see. Definitely a really cool band that's doing something refreshing, I'd say, on the scene. Next, I want to talk about the Black Keys. Yes, the Black Keys. The Black Bees. After a hiatus, they have resurfaced, and they actually resurfaced some time ago when they released Low High. Then came Eagle Birds, and just a couple weeks ago they released Go, along with this really interesting music video in which Patrick Carney and Dan Auerbach are drinking ayahuasca, which is something else. But yeah, Go rounded the trifecta of singles, and I'm thinking, or I believe, that they are indeed back. They are back with not really something to prove, but they're back to I don't want to say their old selves. Like, I don't want to say like these three songs are just them recycling what they've done before, but like they're back. I mean, they have kind of more of a drive this time around because Turn Blue, I wasn't really a big fan of Turn Blue, and it's been a while since I've listened to that record. I've been meaning to go back and kind of re-listen to it and see if I feel any different about it, but I wasn't a big fan. I definitely felt like they might have lost a step. So it appears as though this hiatus proved to be worthwhile because I think these tracks are pretty awesome. I know Dan Auerbach embarked on a solo endeavor for a bit, and he also worked as a producer, and to me, most notably, working on the Cage the Elephant album, Tell Me I'm Pretty, which was very evident when you listen to that album. Definitely a lot of Black Keys influences there. I don't really know what exactly Patrick Carney was up to. Either way, they've come back. And sorry, Patrick Carney. Wasn't really hip to what he's been doing the past few years during Citus, but he's still a kick-ass drummer, much respect. But yeah, either way, they've come back and they sound comfortable. All three tracks are well produced, but best of all, the Black Keys are sticking to their guns, doing what they know best, and that's churning out this really, really boisterous blues rock sound. All three songs have a bite, but they also have great melodies, and Auerbach's singing is on point. He hasn't lost a step there. The choruses are fun and catchy, and especially Low High, which is my favorite of the three, without a doubt. And in fact, Low High, the sound of it kind of reminds me of the song Bitch by Rolling Stones. A lot, actually. But yeah, they all three rip. I think they're all three great, awesome tracks. I'm just glad that they're back and that they kind of have it's not to me. Turn Blue felt again. I'm gonna go back and re-listen to it, but it felt kind of aimless and it kind of sounded a little tiresome. So I'm happy that they are kind of back. And they have a bite, they have an attitude. They're not as loud. They don't have the same brashness that you might have once seen on like Rubber Factory, but they still definitely do have a lot of energy, and they bring it on these three tracks. Uh, it appears as though an album can be expected from them on June 28th, because if you go on Spotify and you listen to Go, there's this cover art of an electric chair, and at the top of the image it says "Let's Rock 6/28/19." So, excuse me. So that is something to mark your calendars for. Hopefully that is indeed true, and that this album or that this album is put forth on June 28th. Looking forward to it. And they're actually coming to Cleveland this fall. So I'm thinking I might have to go to that show, but it's going to be at the Q. It's going to be at Quicken Loans Arena. So I hope that the venue doesn't dictate the prices too much. And really, not to sound like, I guess, that guy, although I don't really know how cliche this might be, but I kind of prefer more like intimate venues. I actually saw Metallica at the Q back in February, and it was a cool concert, definitely awesome. I mean, I'm glad that was kind of a bucket list thing for me, but like I definitely do kind of enjoy more compact, kind of more intimate settings, like smaller scaled venues. But still, nonetheless, I mean, it might have to happen. We'll see. We'll see what we're working with, players, when that concert approaches closer. We'll see. But anyways, that's all. Told you we're gonna get right to the point, brief, get through it, say what we gotta say. Big Thief, Black Keys, much respect. Thanks for listening, players. I'll be back soon enough. This has been the CounterCulture experience off the air.